You know, after seeing this movie, I was like, I think this movie hates me. Or maybe it hates every man. Or maybe it hates everybody. Yeah, I think that's it. It hates everyone. Men. Written and directed by Alex Garland, a director that has actually brought us some of the most thought-provoking, eccentric films of the past couple of decades. Although his directorial debut was back in 2014 with Ex Machina, and he followed that up with Annihilation in 2018, Alex Garland actually proved himself a long time ago when he wrote the screenplay for 28 Days Later. That shit was amazing. And there's a lot of other projects in his oeuvre, like the fact that he's written quite a few video games, like the Devil May Cry series. But I'm just saying all of that to say that this guy is a well-respected writer and director. But anyway, let's talk about men, and that sounds weird as shit. But after the death of her ex-husband, Harper goes on a solo retreat to the English countryside, hoping to find a place to heal. However, someone or something from the surrounding woods appears to be stalking her, and what begins as simmering dread soon becomes a fully formed nightmare inhabited by her darkest memories and fears. So if you guys have already seen my straight out of theater reaction, then you pretty much have a good idea already of my initial thoughts of this film. But if you haven't, I'll rephrase. So initially after seeing this movie, I was a little confused and slightly repulsed. But overall, you know, I found it to be quite entertaining. But now, since it's been a few days since I've seen the film and I've kind of had a chance to let things marinate a little bit, I still pretty much feel the same way about this movie. Now, you know, sometimes you can watch a film and you can sit on it for a day or two and you'll be like, hey, you know, there's things that I now appreciate about the film. Like, I've done a little research, I've looked into other people's thoughts just to see what they had to say about it, and still, you know, it's a very ambiguous movie, so I still have the same feelings about it. I mean, I would say that everything starts out quite normal until about halfway through the second act. Then a little before that is when we start to notice that there are a lot of civilians in the area that have the same face as Harper's landlord, Jeffrey. But strangely enough, her character never acknowledges this, and viewers might easily interpret this as Garland's message being that all men are the same, you know, being toxic pieces of shit, which is pretty much what they are in this film. But her ex-husband is the only man throughout the film that has his own normal appearance. You know, he looks the way he normally would look without looking like the other fucking guy. And this could mean that she sees him differently versus every other man. Now, here is where I want to give a slight because it's very difficult to talk about this movie without getting into certain details. Honestly, I don't consider these things to be spoilers. What I'm about to say is not going to ruin your experience at all about this film, but I feel like some people might be a little butthurt once I start talking about some certain things. So I'm just going to go ahead and give a slight disclaimer ahead of time. I am going to talk about certain things that were shown in the trailer. That's about it. I'm not really going to dig much deeper than that, but just to give you guys my thoughts on it. So there you have it. So there's a lot of imagery and symbolism throughout the film that points to the Green Man and the Sheila Nagig sculptures. And then there's the apple tree that you all have seen from the trailers referencing Adam and Eve. Now, I'm not going to go into the meanings of all of those things. It's really just a quick Google search if you really want to know what they all stand for. But the gist of it all is that there are a lot of religious, biblical, and sexuality references in the movie that will for sure spark conversation amongst audiences everywhere. I mean, everybody's going to be talking about this shit. I mean, the people who see it anyway, of course. And then there's going to be a lot of fucking arguments about this. I guarantee it. Like, because this movie is meant to be interpreted in many ways. And a lot of people are going to act like they know exactly what this means. But unless Alex Garland himself steps forward and, you know, gives us the meaning of his story, it is meant to be delivered in this way. And Alex Garland even said himself in the press notes we all received that, you know, this film leans very hard into the idea that a story is 50-50 between the storyteller and the story receivers, and the ambiguity of this movie makes that statement very apparent. Now, personally, I would say that his other works like Ex Machina and Annihilation were fairly straightforward. I mean, for the most part, it was pretty clear about what the main character's motivations were. But in Men, we really don't know enough about the main character Harper to really understand and know what she wants. I mean, yes, we understand in this moment that she wants to be left alone and that she wants peace, but at the same time, there's a level of guilt that's haunting her throughout this movie that leads to these, you know, crazy ass events that we witness later in the story. And it really makes you wonder, why is all of this happening to her? I mean, is it all in her head and she was just tainted by her previous relationship and this is just some psychological breakdown that she's having now? Or is she really as innocent as the film portrays her to be, and that the men in this world are seriously just this toxic? Or maybe she had a curse put on her by her ex-husband. I mean, that That might be a fucking possibility, who knows? Or is there an overall larger message that Garland is trying to get across to the audience, or is he just exploring the realm of fantasized storytelling and, you know, just fucking with us in the process? I mean, this is pretty much, I think, how he wanted the film to be received, in this very ambiguous way, like I've said before, and all of these interpretations could be true, and none of them could be true, or some of them could be true. I mean, it's really just kind of up in the air, you know? This is a very interesting film though, but it's also a film that just leaves it all up to you to decide what it all means without any strong direction. This is also a beautiful film with amazing sound design and some of the creepiest cinematography of any film I've seen so far this year. But still, in my personal opinion, it's just an okay movie overall. So because of that, I'm giving Men a 7.5 out of 10. With the story being so purposely blurred, I can honestly say that the ambiguity probably wasn't the best crutch for Garland to lean on with this title, but I'm still giving him an A+ for originality and for having the balls to create a film so inevitably polarizing. And it might be a little surprising for you guys to hear this, but I am still looking forward to whatever this guy creates next, simply because I can always count on his work to be a different, new, thought-provoking perspective. But Men releases Friday, May 20th, only in theaters. So there you have it, and if you enjoyed the content, you know exactly what to do. Thank you for watching.